Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with our BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by El Bandito, Elvin, Brito. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, brother? How you doing? Ask me anything. What's
You
going
have
on?
you have one of the best names in combat sports. It all rhymes. It all sounds so great coming off the tongue.
Yeah, yeah, I know it does. It's real awesome. I realized El Bandito, like the first letter of Elvin Leon Brito, ELB, is the first three letters of El Bandito. So I think maybe that has something to do with it. El Bandito, Elvin Leon Brito. You're like, yeah, get me pumped up every time,
So there's a little bit of heat between you and I because you told my wife she was beautiful, and now she every time Elvin fights or she sees Elvin, she goes, "He said I'm beautiful, and he smells good." She said you smell good too.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, she is beautiful. She got such a beautiful smile, and she's awesome. She loves to fight. You know, she's got that sweet look to her. You wouldn't be like you'd be surprised that she's front row watching everybody get splattered, and she's just like shit with the same smile on her face. So she's a true fan, and yeah, she's awesome.
You come from like a country that's known for like your grit. Did you grow up fighting?
Yeah, I've been fighting since I was 16. I didn't grow up fighting. My first coach was Puerto Rican. I started fighting in Lockport, Illinois, when I was in high school. I was a fat little kid. I was just kind of trying to find something to do, and I wasn't really good at anything. I tried the boxing. I was tough. I threw a really solid right hand, and my coach saw something in me. He saw my potential, and he went behind me 100%. And we spent a lot of time, a lot of work. My first coach kind of, uh, my the first coach is real important. It kind of molds you into the fighter that you're gonna be. And I started boxing as a martial artist. Like when I did boxing, I was reading the Bruce Lee's books on boxing and stuff like that. And it was my approach to fighting has always been as a martial arts. And I've always loved fighting. I love the competition. I was always I'm really loud with my people and with the people that I'm comfortable with and the people I love. But I'm also apart too. I'm not like an inclusive person. So it was a kind of an outlet for me of just, and it kind of brought me into a whole different world. And once I started boxing, I never stopped. I never, I just it was just became part of who I was, and it was just so natural for me. And I always got that all the time. Because I was young, like, oh, you're such a nice guy, and so many people, the girls, like, oh, you're so nice, and they go watch me fight, like, holy shit, this guy's he's something else, and I've always been like that. The proof is in the pudding, and that's part of like who I am. I don't have to, I could be mean if I don't have to be nice, but I don't have to prove anything because, you know, once the bell rings, everything's gonna show. It don't matter what you say. I love the
It
realist.
you kind of were the nice guy for a long time, and then after your fight against Jafar, like it seemed like you really turned up, and you seemed so much more intense and more motivated. What was the turning point for that?
you know, I just, I don't like. I I uh I really just call it how I see it. You know, and I'm just I try to I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's just how I am. If I'm not happy, I'm gonna say it. This fight, you know, uh, I'm a lot more calm going into this fight. I have a lot of reasons to be pissed off. There's so many reasons for me to be upset, and I have to control all of it because I'm gonna save it all for Gordon. He's gonna be the one to get it uh, next week, and maybe there might be a little bit of heat left over afterwards. We'll see, but I just I go by how I feel right now. It doesn't really matter how I feel in this one. That's why I'm being a little bit more focused, and I'm a little bit more quiet coming into this fight because it's not about, it's definitely not lack of confidence or lack of self belief. It's just I don't want to give too much away. I just, this fight. There's a lot of, this is a weird matchup. It's a weird matchup, and it's a good matchup too. Um, Kordanov, he's 0-2 in BKFC, but he's got a couple wins in bare knuckle. He's been doing bare knuckle, for a while. He's a tough dude, but and stylistically, you know, it's a great matchup. I really don't know what the plan or the idea is behind this. I have a couple ideas of my own that I think. Oh crap! My lights went out. I'm gonna go in the house. I
Okay.
have a couple ideas on my own about it. Um, Give me a second.
You're good.
I'm gonna have to go inside because my light went out. I apologize. So we're going right here, I guess.
Sure.
We're sitting here like an office now.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that
Perfect.
good? Let me see if
Oh,
I
you're
can.
great.
There you go. Is that
Good.
how's the light?
You're good.
All right, cool. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but I lost track. What was I saying?
It sounded like you were talking about the matchup and wondering, kind of curious why this matchup was taking place. Oh, I can't hear you now all of a sudden.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
A couple ideas in my head of why this matchup. I don't like any of it. I'm coming over there to wreck house. You know, you know, I'm going to enemy territory. Car stacked against me. Hometown guy. He's from he's from Russia or whatever, but he's the blue corner. And I just, my plan is to go in there and make him cry. I'm trying to be very patient with this guy because I'm gonna hit him a lot, and I'm gonna put a hurting on this dude. And, I just gotta be, I want to be patient because I just want to make sure I drive through my point through with Kordanov.
I'm disappointed your lights went out because where I'm at right now, it's 0 degrees and starting to snow a little bit. Where you were at, like the birds are chirping, you can hear the crickets. It's such a beautiful, like, are you in paradise or what?
Man, honestly, I love Puerto Rico. It was a huge sacrifice for me to come back. I had to give up a lot to come back, but man, I wouldn't change it for anything. It's such a different lifestyle. It's a different world. And yeah, I wouldn't trade it for a thing. I've been all over the place, but Puerto Rico is something special. Monabo is just close to my heart. It's my home. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And there's a reason. We have so many people come visit here. It's just you fall in love with this place. And the people, and it's just a beautiful place. It is paradise.
You've started training people. I see people are like packing up and going there for fight camps. Like, is it just the destination? Is it because it's so unique and so beautiful? Like, why is everybody coming to train with you?
Well, it's a combination of the locale and because of the way we train. We've had so many guys with so many fights in Puerto Rico train with us. A lot of the guys, I'm going into my 12 fights, but a lot of the guys that have that many fights, they train with me all the time. And we have our approach. We are a bare knuckle camp. Bare knuckle, and there's not a lot of places you can go to that specify in what we do and have the experience in what we do. And a lot of people claim to be bare knuckle coaches or be trained for bare knuckle, but they don't. They're working with people that have no idea what they're kind of just guessing. But we're writing a book on this. We're obviously trying to develop sustainable styles for the fighters, so the fighters can keep coming back. And the guys, they every single person that's been here, they get it when they come here. Like, oh, okay, this is somewhere special, and this is bare knuckle. It is something special, and we train real hard. We have our own routine to do here. We train very hard. It's high level training. Anybody who's been here will attest to that. It's very grueling, and we have our own approach to the game, and we kind of like the sport kind of needs that anyway, So anybody who loves this was really trying to, take it to the next level and bare knuckle. This is attractive to the thought of it, and a lot of guys just end up in the jungle camp.
Are we going to ever see a BKFC Puerto Rico? I thought like Nelson and those guys went down there to kind of set it up. Is that something you see in the future, or not for a while?
No, I would love, to make that happen. I think, I can help make that happen. Puerto Rico works a little bit different. It's just different out here, and you need somebody from here to do the show here. That's just how it works. You can't come to Puerto Rico as a foreign entity and do a show without a proxy. You need a proxy. You need a local promoter that's gonna work with you. You need to be able to work with the local guys. So there's a lot of like networking, little stuff. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of minutia, little legalese, and a lot of money issues and how money gets moved around. So there's a lot of stuff that that has to be worked around, but it can be done. It can be done. It has to, especially the first show. It has to be done in good faith. So it's like the first bare knuckle show ever. It has to be done in good faith, and and I think it's definitely possible. But Puerto Rico loves bare knuckle. They love it out here. I think it's a untapped market. And it actually has the potential to be a big thing. We just need.
So you said growing up in Illinois, like were you born and raised in Illinois, or?
I moved around a lot as a kid. I was born in Humacao, Puerto Rico. I lived in New York. I went to kindergarten in Puerto Rico. First, second grade in New Jersey. Out of New Jersey. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, Puerto Rico. Seventh and eighth in Chicago. Finished eighth in Joliet, Illinois. 9, 10, 11, all the way to high school. Got knocked back when I went back to Puerto Rico. Did the junior and senior. Graduated in Puerto Rico. I ended up moving back to Joliet. Met my wife over there. She's from Lockport. Moved back to Puerto Rico. And we lived in Florida for a little bit, and we decided, like, look, I'm not gonna do this to my kids. I know how much it was for me. How it's really hard on the youth to move them around so much. So I didn't want to do that to my kids. So we decided we were just gonna stay in Puerto Rico and grow here. But yeah, I moved around a lot in my youth. And that's why I'm so cosmopolitan. That's why my English is so good, my Spanish, and I know a little bit of everything. I got to meet a lot of different people. I got a little bit of a different experience than most people. I got to lose a lot, and have to rebuild a whole bunch, as a kid, and just nothing. Everything's always in flux, and the only thing that was really always there was my parents and my brothers, but everything else was in flux for a long time, and I'm just. I'm glad to have some stability for my kids. And just, I know we're not going to be going anywhere. We're building our house out here. We're building the jungle camp here. Everything's going to be here. And if the kids want to go, they can go on their own little adventure if they want. But we're not. We're gonna grow our roots here. We're gonna focus here on our community and work with our guys that are our community of guys that are coming over here and working with our people.
What is the name of the goat that you always work your neck with, and how did you start doing that?
That's Pancho. Oh man, we've been doing that for years. We've been doing that since he was a kid. I used to pick him up and walk him, run him up the hills and stuff like that. He's so big now. He's like the biggest goat that you could possibly. Anybody, honestly, anytime anybody sees him, like, whoa, that thing's huge. He's such a big goat. But yeah, he's kind of like the mascot. He's a pet. I mean, right now I have like 13, 14 goats, and it's all girls except Pancho and one of the babies. So he's got all. He's like the king of he's living like a king right now.
I want to come to Puerto Rico and like chase animals with you. You have so many cool, unique animals, and I work with alligators and stuff. We can go catch some caiman or something. And
You see if we can catch one of them guinea fowls. You see how lucky you get with that. Those things are vicious.
and they're so loud. My neighbor has a bunch of those guinea fowls. They're so loud and obnoxious.
I heard the meat is good. I mean, the eggs are good. I heard the meat is good. I never ate it. The meat's black. It's like black. I heard it's good. Never tried it.
Okay, your manager is Scott Farley. Scott is on the Reddit. He's very active. The only thing that I don't know about Scott, I don't know if I've ever seen him smile. Every time he's in somebody's corner, all he's doing is I say, get up there and just scowl at the camera because that's all he knows how to do.
Yeah, he got his game face on. Yeah, Scott's cool, man. You wouldn't be able to tell from that, but yeah, Scott's a cool dude, man. That's my guy. I know Scott for a long time, since before. I've been working with him since before Bare Knuckle. You know, when I was, local MMA champion and over there in Island Fights. He was working with me way back when, and so we've been we've been friends for a real long time, and I'm glad that he's been able to make this whole thing of it. And I'm glad to see everything growing. And Scott, he's a cool dude. So he's a great friend, and I'm glad that we're still in this getting it together.
How did you come to BKFC? Did you saw it on TV? Did they reach out to you? Like what brought you to BKFC?
Listen, I was meant to be. I was meant for this. I was meant to be in BKFC. Um, I was just sitting in Dean Toole's office, and the owner of Island Fights. And I didn't even know I was there. I was just talking to him. I don't know. I just happened to stop by, and I'm sitting in his office talking to him. And he hangs up the phone. He's like, I just got done talking to the BKFC guys. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I'm doing matchmaking for him. And I tell him, like, man, I think they would like me. Why don't you, try to get me in there? And sure as hell, he got me in there. And, I fought Harris Stevenson in Mississippi, hometown guy brought me in to lose to the hometown guy. I got knocked out tonight, and I thought it was gonna be a one and done thing. It was kind of crazy and scary, I thought it was gonna be a one and done thing, but man, I fell in love with it. I really love the sport, and it's just I every time I fought, developed a passion for it. Like losing only made me want to fight more. And it was no turning back for me. Once the it was like a snowball effect. Once it started going, man, like this, it just took over everything, and I'm just full time bare knuckle fighter now.
Did you enjoy MMA, or do you wish BKFC had been around a while back and you could have skipped MMA and went straight to the bare knuckle boxing?
I enjoyed MMA. MMA was fun, man. It really was. Part of it, I've been fighting for a long time. It was part of my quest. I love doing it. I got a pro belt in jiu-jitsu. I got a brown belt in Kodokan judo. I spent years and years working on all the little details of MMA. MMA is a really hard sport. It's different though. It's different than bare knuckle. It's different than bare knuckle because like MMA, as vicious as it is, knees and elbows and all that different. It's like a sport.
Yeah.
Like a guy will just just athlete you, and even if you're better than him, like you can be better than him. It's just more technically profound than a guy, and the guy will just use his athleticism against you, and eke out a ugly win, but he'll win, And bare knuckle, it is kind of a pure sport where like the best fighter is gonna win, and there's always a puncher's chance.
Sure.
If you swing and that hits, it's over. Everybody can win. Everybody's got a chance to win, and every fight can be fight of the night. And when the fighters, it's a different breed of fighters. Once you start sifting through the guys that want to try it out, and you start getting the mainstays and the guys that keep coming back, you're dealing with these a different kind of fighter. And every time they fight, they pour their heart out there, man. And it's hard not to love this sport, It's hard not to love this,
Have you developed any I see you train quite a bit with Lorenzo, but like outside of Lorenzo, have you developed any really good, deep, meaningful friendship with any of the other fighters?
Man, every single person that's been out here, we're like friends, Every single person, Lorenzo, Jay's out here staying with us. We got a couple amateurs that been here. Andrew's been here. Chris was here. You know, they're all friends. Britton Hart. You know, me and Britton we're like, you know, we're awesome friends. And you know, like everybody that's been here, even Doolittle who came out here for a little bit, we're friends. Him and you know, his girl. I love the fighters. You know, and care about the fighters. The guys that came with me, like I care about them. Like I want to see them win. You know, so yeah, like all the guys that came with me, and it's different. You know, like Lorenzo, Britt, Jay, you know, freaking Dave, and you know, Chris and Andrew. We've bled together. We trained together. You know, it's like you develop, you know, relationships faster. You know, because you're in the trenches together. You know, it's like battle buddies. You know, especially when you're going through all stuff. Like Joey spent he spent some time here, Joey Beltran, and you know, I have so much admiration for Joey. We still stay in touch. We're awesome friends, and you know, we both, you know, like I said, we have a friendship. We all, you know, and the thing is, the thing about like good is that be gone forever. Come back and it's like you never left. You start talking shit and you're busting each other's ass right off the bat. You never, you know, it don't take much. You know, and that's how I am with my real friends. And I'm that's, you know, one of the things I like that I've enjoyed is all the people that I've got the chance to work with. You know, and you know, we really, it's been a labor of love. You know, the bare knuckle has been a labor of love. You know, and you know, the gold rush. You know, the whole going into my you know, titles fight, was an awesome time. You know, it was a great experience. And you know, it was a bond. Like I said, we formed bonds with each other as fighters because almost every fighter, you know, every fight team, you know, they have their guys like that. You know, we have their cliques. You know, because we that's how fighting is.
What is more stressful? I see you're starting to coach more and corner more. Is it more stressful cornering and coaching or fighting?
uh Depends on the fighter. You know, depends on the fighter, but it's fighting. You know, a lot of people have trouble cornering people, or like a lot of people have problems. Like they have more problems being, you know, being there for other fighters because they're not in control. You know, the fighters. But I managed to find a balance with with it. You know, and you gotta exude confidence. So I can't, especially so if I'm cornering somebody, it's because I believe they can win. You know,
Sure.
if I'm in their corner, I'm, I don't corner anybody that I think is gonna lose. You know, now if I'm in your corner, it's because I think you can win. So I have to exude confidence. It's my job as your cornerman to show that, you know, that I do believe that you're gonna win, and it has to, you know, it has to come out of me. And it's just like that Ali famous Ali clip where he's like, "Why are you guys looking all sad? I'm the one that's gonna fight," you know. You know, like you really have to keep the spirits up for your fighters because you do feed off each other, you know. So when I show up, I'm El Bandito every time, you know, supreme confidence, and we love what we do. And you know, we're always there to win. We're never there to see what happens. You know, always there to win.
So today, Dave, or maybe it was yesterday, Dave announced that $25 million tournament. They haven't picked a weight class yet. Is that something that you're interested in?
Of course, I mean, we fighters. We want to fight. We want to get the money. Yeah, you know, they mentioned that it might be like up to 65, and then from 75 up, they're gonna figure out what they want to do. I would love to jump in there, especially if it's kind of like an open weight kind of scenario where fight kind of, you know, it's kind of cross platform there. You know, you're gonna be seeing a lot of different guys match weird, interesting matchups. You know, I would love that, and it's bare knuckle, so it's a little bit different. You know, it'd be really interesting to see some of those discrepancies in weight. You know, and styles. Yeah, but I'm on it, obviously.
It's one of those, like, I mean, it's great that they're having a huge tournament, but I almost also would wish like maybe it was like $3 million for each weight class, and you guys could all stay in your weight class and potentially chase that. Because it's gonna suck if they do a heavyweight tournament and somebody like you can't enter, and some, you know, like some of the lighter guys.
Yeah, no, yeah, you know, you're right. It wouldn't be a bad idea to just kind of spread the love around a little bit, you know, give us all a little something. I think, or maybe have just make blocks, and just have 2, 3 blocks and just have fight out for some cash, fight out for some prize money. I think it'd be awesome. But yeah, whatever BKFC does, it's their ship. They're running it. We're in it. We're doing our thing. We got to do our best. We have our little small window, which is when we're in there in the ring. So I'm working. I've been working for a long time. So this small window that I'm gonna have next week, I'm gonna showcase myself, you know, to BKFC and to all the viewers and to the fans, and to show that got plenty of Bandito for a long time, and it's my 12th fight. We're celebrating, and I want to go international. I think I've earned it. I think I think the fans overseas would love to see me. So I would like to just this to be my this guy is from Russia, so smash smash this guy and start going on a little international tour. I would love to do that.
The one thing that we hear a lot on the Reddit, and I disagree with it, like people constantly say that bare knuckle is not going to be long term for most of you fighters. It's going to be hard to maintain a career and do 15 to do 20 some fights. Do you agree with that or disagree?
Depends on the fighter, man. It really depends on the fighter. I could already have. The only reason I don't have more fights is because they won't book me. Book me more, I would have more fights. But it really depends on the fighter, and it depends on the. Listen, realistically, bare knuckle. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every fight could be your last fight. Every fight, you have a chance. It's like a car accident. There's a chance to go in there and something breaks, and you're done. It's bare knuckle. You know, um, there's a chance you go in there, you're fine. But it can happen. I've been lucky. I said I went in there 11 times, and every time I come out, I'm like, "Ooh, that could have been way worse than that." But it could always be real bad. And it really depends on the fighter, it depends on the trajectory, and there's a certain level of luck to it too. Honestly, the injury is always possible, and but yes, it's the proof is in the pudding. There are fighters that can pump out fighters. You can make a career out of it. You can open up opportunities with it. And bare knuckle could be a segue to a lot of different things. And it's a great way to put yourself out there. The people love a good fight. And as long as, it really, like I said, it depends on the fighter. As long as the fighter is smart, he understands what he's getting himself into, understands the nature of the sport. Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't get into the double digits. Easy, easy. And bare knuckle, it's prize fighting. So we're hoping that in the future, the sport becomes what it's supposed to be. Double digit fights. Guys like me should be fighting for, a lot of money, because there's not a lot of fighters like me. There's not a lot of fighters like Lorenzo. There's not a lot of fighters like Britton Hart. There's not a lot of fighters that can pump out 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fights and then keep coming back and show no signs of slowing down. And that's not the whole pool. That's a small fraction of the pool, and exceptional fighters should be rewarded. And I'm hoping that the sport naturally leads to that natural conclusion. Just like the old days where the prize fighters were getting, because even back then, those guys were superstars and they were getting superstar money for what they were doing. You're sacrificing your life and you're sacrificing your body. Like I said, it's bare knuckle. Every fight could be your last fight. So and we keep fighting on. So we should get our part for that.
It seems like there's two different types of bare knuckle fighters. I talk to some fighters and they watch every card and they want to know everything that's going on. And I talk to other guys and they say, I didn't even watch the fights. Are you a guy that pays attention to all the bare knuckle fights, or you got so much going on that you don't really have time?
I like to watch the fights. I like to pay attention. I like to keep my keep my finger out and check out the weather, check out the new talent, see what's going on. Check out my divisions. But I definitely watch the sport. I don't get I'm not sitting here watching film over and over again. But yeah, and especially there's some events and there's some fighters that I have to watch. No exception.
Can you tell us? The next question was going to be, who are you a fan of that's currently on the roster?
Man, I love Christine. Me and Christine debuted on the same card. I knew she was gonna be a champion from the first knockout she got. Yeah. Uh, Lorenzo is my homie. We're like brothers. Christine, I said Christine, Lorenzo, Britton. Like I said, that's my sister. We've been working for a long time. Britton is a beast. Jay is my homie. He works with him. I like man. Those are the guys that that work with me. But there's so many guys on the roster now. International guys all the big names, all the important fighters. I'm watching them. There's a lot of good fighters now. There's a lot of exceptional bare knuckle fighters, guys that you are going to be getting 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You can tell 14, 20 fights, if you give them the opportunity. And, I'm always watching for sure.
BKFC has really swelled its numbers, and it's difficult to get fights. You've talked about you'd fight more if you could. Do you feel like it's time for BKFC to kind of start thinning out some of their ranks a little bit? I mean, you have guys who have 4 or 5 losses and no wins. Do you feel like it's time for maybe them to have a minor league per se and kind of be able to focus on you guys who are winning and propelling the sport forward?
I mean, if they keep doing shows the way that they plan on doing, there's plenty of space for all of us. There's plenty of space for. I think they could I think they could flesh out the grades of competition a little bit more.
Sure.
But other than that, I mean, as long as they keep us busy, it looks like this year is going to be a real busy year for the fighters. There's the guys that want to be active, the guys that are, the guys that are here should. I really think. I mean, I think that there's plenty of shows to put guys on. I think I should be busy this year. And if there's a lot of guys that they say they want to fight, but then you call them, they don't want to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how fighters are. They're like, oh, not right now. I thought you said you were ready to fight, But they're fighters that when they say they're ready to fight, they're ready to fight. I think it has to. I think more than anything, as far as the fighters, and I think it has more to do with the contracts than anything. I think as long as the contracts are organized in a coherent way, satisfy the fighters' needs to a certain extent, because there are fighters that don't need to fight all the time, but there are fighters that do need to fight all the time, and there's fighters that don't want to fight all the time. But there's guys that want to fight every opportunity they can. I want to fight every opportunity I can, But like I said, it really depends on the fighter. It depends on how they organize the contract. It depends on how they're going to do the shows. I think they should stratify. Maybe it's going to be a little bit easier for them to, especially now. Now we have a really good talent pool, especially in the 165. Sure. Tell the guys that are upper level guys and the mid tier guys, and then the guys that are they're there to get, what they're there for. You know what they're there for. And the thing is about bare knuckle is those guys have some of the most funnest fights out of everybody. The low tier guys go out there and pour their heart out. It's not like they don't have fun fights, but you can tell the difference. When you got guys like me stepping up, you can see there's an obvious change in fighting ability. And I think it's more defined.
So you're one of the OGs. You've been around for quite a while. If you could make one suggestion, BKFC, and you wish BKFC did one thing better, what would it be?
Oh, that's a weird question. that's
well, I'll tell you the one I get from a lot of people, and it seems like everybody from the UFC tells me they wish BKFC had better communication. They said, I don't like that it takes me weeks to get hold of somebody sometimes, and they wish the communication was better. But what would you say?
I don't know. It's how my belief of how with bare knuckle, especially like I said, there's exceptional fighters in bare knuckle. There's guys that are just, especially the high level guys, they're all characters. There's not one high level bare knuckle fighter that's not outrageous. It's some sort of character, because you have to be like that to be a top level fighter. You have to be different, and I think BKFC should do more storylines.
Yeah,
that's why. It's not. They have good camera log. They have good cameras. They have good production. I really think they could form better storylines for the fighters. I think they, try to get the people more involved with the individual fighters and create, characters that people could either relate to or stand against, because it's always good to have a good heel. I think Lorenzo, he to me, he really has done a really good job in being like a persona and a polarizing, larger than life figure, and he's been able to do that on his own, But fighting is larger than life, all the champions that we have are larger than life, and I think BKFC could showcase that more.
You give me Lorenzo with no camera around, and I'm such a happy guy. You put a camera in Lorenzo's face, and I'm like walking the other way because he's night and day.
No, but he does such a great job of doing it, and that's really like, he's an exemplary BK fighter, because I said bare knuckle, it shouldn't, it's different, and it's different, and Lorenzo's a polarizing figure, and I think he does a great job at it. I think BKFC could do more storytelling and really sell the guys. Kai is awesome. Kai is awesome character. Like, I said they could really push a lot of these guys, and they could really create stories. And that's the only thing that I see. But that's just my vision.
That's kind of why we started with the AMAs, like our little community, because so many people are like, I see this guy, he punches someone in the face, I don't see him for 6 months, he comes back, he punches someone in the face. I want to know about this person. I want to know what he does and where he lives. And so like that's why we started with the Ask Me Anythings.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember I ran some of those fans like, man, I see you fighting, man. I thought you were crazy. You're out there laughing and punching people. You're a really cool dude. Like, yeah, it's the fighting, and we have our own. I like to put on the show when I fight. I love fighting. And for me, it's not boxing or MMA. I want to go out there and I want the fans to see something. I want to put on a show for the fighters, for the fans and the fighters.
I would love for BKFC to do like the themed fight and it be bad blood. And, you could have Kamosi versus Hunt again, and you could have Kai versus Duran. Is there anybody for bad blood for Elvin Brito?
Dude, we got to do me versus Palomino 3 in Puerto Rico.
I knew you were going to say that.
People love that shit. People love drama. People want to see that. I played with Palomino again, like I was doing last time, and and let him fuck me over. So I'm going there to knock his ass out. People will love that.
Okay, my last question for the first time you're on my show, the last question I always ask somebody, do you remember the first time you were in a fight? You said you didn't start fighting until you were like 16, but were you ever in any like school fights, prior to that?
First fight I was ever at, it was and when I was in Patterson, New Jersey. I had this kid, after school, he was just trying to mess with me, like anytime anybody ever tried to bully me, I always ended up in a fight, and it was no exception that day. That day they had to pull me off that kid. But my first fight, like the first couple fights I had when I was a kid, it was always crazy, and I never understood, because I always just beat the crap out of anybody. I'm like, damn, yeah, it was just, I said, but I never. It's not like I looked for fights,
Sure.
But I can down a fight. Like if somebody ever tried to bully me, we're fighting.
Well, I appreciate your time. Is there any message or shout out or anything you'd like to say before we call it a night?
No, man. Shout out to Combat. Go Combat. Shout out to all my local sponsors, all my Puerto Rican, my Melbourne sponsors. They give me a lot of love. Gallego Sports. Got to give a huge shout out to Rasha, because Rasha is one of my sponsors, BKFC sponsors, and they're great technology, awesome people. So big shout out to Rasha. A lot of love for those guys, and all the Pechanga fans. It's a new stage. Never seen me before, so it's gonna be great to be over there and get my own little version of some bare knuckle violence. Fight number 12. It's gonna be fun.
Before we let you go, I'm actually going to be doing an AMA with the owner of Rasha. Could you tell us about Rasha and like what it's done for you?
I mean, Rasha, I've worked with them before. I've used their technology before. I haven't had a chance to access it like I wanted to. We're still working on that. Hopefully, I'll be able to get my hands on one of the portable versions. But I was able to use it a couple times. The sound technology, use the studio, got to meet with the guys, got to see how everything works, and man, it was awesome. And I'm glad I got the opportunity. Like I said, eventually I will be having a little more access to them, But just like I said, just being able to work with them a little bit, and the prospect of doing all this different stuff with them in the future, having them backing me up, and knowing the kind of people they are, and it's awesome. So Jerry's a very interesting guy. He's an exceptional dude, and I'm that kind of guy. Like I'm different. I like different, and Jerry's different. He's a smart dude, and the technology is legitimate. And I'm really looking forward to keep working with them.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time. I can't wait to watch this fight. I'm so excited. And like I said, my wife, she's going to be cheering for you because she's your biggest fan. So
I appreciate it. You could cheer for Kornov if you want. I'm good with that. I hope that the whole crowd's there for him. I'm really hoping they're all there for him, talking in Russian and everything. When I'm not, I'm gonna start crying in Russian too.
All right. Thanks so much, sir. Have a great night and appreciate it. And we can't wait to talk to you again soon. Thanks, man.
That wasn't too bad, was it? I didn't get it's late.
No, you're good. Thank you so much. And I will I'll hit you back up on Instagram.
I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.